Hi everybody, welcome to my first ever episode of my Dungeon Boss Hero Spotlight series. Today we're going to be doing a sort of unboxing of the new hero, Admiral Kreel. He is a water-based reptile, so he is intended to complete the reptile team. At least that is what the Dungeon Boss push notification told me when it said the reptile team was complete. So let's take a look at these individual skills here. He has Raging Rapids, which is a melee physical attack. It has a chance to apply backsplash as well as 4 stacks of venom. Second skill, Chow Down, 3 times bite attack on a target. Increases damage when it purges its venom, which is kind of interesting if you use with a reptile team. His third one, Old Faithful, is a ranged water attack that has some splash damage and also has a chance to increase its damage based on purging venom. His last thing is a passive trait, which is That's a Moray, which has a weird mark mechanic where basically whoever you mark, you take normal damage from them, but you take less damage from everybody else. So it's kind of an interesting trait, something we've never actually seen before. So it'll be interesting to see how that actually works in the grand scheme of things when we start running him in dungeons and in PvP and such. That being said, let's look at the overall hero himself. So we're going to go ahead and summon him first. Quick little spoiler alert. I am not recording this one live, at least as far as this opening segment here. So we're just doing some basic summons here. It actually was very odd because he did not drop on the very first one. Usually when they're featured like that, they always show up in about the first or second. And I think it actually gets up to about number 9 before he actually shows up. I was ready to think I was going to end up starting to submit a help desk ticket because he wasn't popping up there. But so here he is. At first glance, I think he looks really cool. I really like the character model. So at the very least, we have a cool looking hero. The point of this video here is to see where he actually falls in line within the reptile team. How does he work with PvE and PvP? So that's going to be the goal. But we'll get to that in just a second here after we wrap up these times 10s. And we're just dealing with a little bit of screen lag and such like that. So if you bear with me for a second, or maybe like 10 seconds. But what we're going to look at first is we're going to take a look at his skills and his traits and his ascension cost, because we want to first see if you're going to be able to use him. So first things first, for low-level players, if you cannot ascend him, you may want to be wary about actually using him, because everybody knows ascensions are where it's at. So at first glance here with his abilities, we have his Raging Rapids, which is what we saw. It has a chance to backsplash and a chance for venom. Not a guarantee of either. And then if we look at his stats, nothing special here. So if you can't ascend him, the only thing he's got is challenge accepted, which you're not going to do much extra damage to Furnace because of his abs of steel, and not many people are running too many Pygneus teams out there. So if you can't ascend him, he may not be really worth it for you. First ascension cost is pretty cheap. A couple of basic evos, and then 2 of those, I believe it's a Valkyrie evo. He looks a little bit cooler when he gets his first ascension. A little bit better armor, and they upgraded his little spear again. Double-edged lightsaber type spear like Darth Maul. It's kind of cool. New stats. He gets 1 extra trait and then a boost to challenge accepted. This is his That's a Moray trait, which is going to be that odd mark. We'll see that more when we do the PvE run. As far as abilities go, he does get his second ability, which I think personally is his best ability. So this Chow Down, 3 attacks on 1 person, and it purges venom to increase his damage, and I'll get into more about that when we actually use it in a dungeon. His second ascension is a little bit more expensive, costs 12 Celestial Evos. So if you don't have these laying around, you can always try and find a Stormwind or a Ruined Evo, or you can craft them like most people would suggest. But this is going to be where we get the best possible version of Admiral Kreel. His armor looks way cooler now. I definitely like how he looks here. But we want to get into the actual guts here. So stats, he gets 2 extra traits. Venomous Paralysis, which basically helps against dodge teams. So your Kiras and your Black Diamonds and your Arias, for example. And then Feeding Frenzy, which is probably his best trait. Every time the Gorgon Sisters attack with anything, he follows up with a basic attack. So if you can keep him alive and you can rune out him for attack, he can be quite something. His last skill, nothing really that special. Has a chance to drench, but it's only just a chance to drench. So don't go in expecting that he's going to be basically just like Kai. So the first benchmark that we're going to do is a PvE run. We're going to run it on the current boss island that's up today, which today is a Thursday for me, but when you see this, it will be a Friday. We're going to run this against Babel Mountain. There's nothing special about Babel Mountain. It's neither elementally advantage nor disadvantage. As far as the order, we're going to be using the Reptile team. We want to try and maximize the team as far as how we run this. Being that Kreel's attacks seem to do more damage when people are venomed, we probably want him to go last if I had to wager. So the real question is, where do we want to put the other people? Typically, I like to have healers go first. So I will put Cobressa first, and then I will put in Viperia. See if I can find these guys. They're hiding in here because we haven't gotten my sort out yet. Still waiting for that update for the hero sort. So I'll go with our 2 big hitters first. Now just a bit of background here. I'm running this dungeon with no runes on Kreel, because I want to see how he survives in his most basic form. My Viperia is currently runed out for defense and health for PvP purposes, and my Cobressa is runed out for attack, and then Krex is runed for damage reduction. As far as potion loadout goes, 2 revive and 1 energy potion. Just in the event that I do get killed. I don't usually have a lot of faith in Cobressa as a healer compared to other healers. This is certainly not much of an auto run team, so in the grand scheme of things, do I feel like Kreel is going to be a game changer for PvE? Probably not so much, but let's see how he actually holds up. With the massive amounts of venom that we can use, it's possible that when we get more boss dungeons, this may be a little bit more viable of a team when we have to worry about adding and stacking debuffs to ultimately bring down harder enemies. So in the grand scheme of things, though, I don't think he's a huge game changer for PvE. Not like Lily was, where Lily could single-handedly take on some of the most difficult dungeons and still prevail. I don't see Kreel in that same league, so that leaves me to believe that maybe PvP is going to be more so of where he is in. But we'll go through this one first and see where things go. I'm just going to do some basic commentary here just to kind of get us started here. So I guess we can start with an AoE off the bat. Just throw some venom out there. Cobressa kind of does her thing, and then that'll be on cooldown. The only thing I don't like about her is, in order to get that energy back, you have to be able to envenom without actually killing people, which doesn't happen a lot. So some basic attacks. Here's one of Kreel's first things. He likes to follow up basic attacks. That's another reason why I would like to have him after all the other reptiles. But his follow-up attack is only after the Gorgons, so only the 2 sisters. So now here's our first instance of seeing that mark. So if we take a quick look at the mark, Admiral Kreel takes less damage from other sources. So the mark is very unique in terms of a debuff. Basically, what that means is when we attack with Kreel, we want to attack the weakest player. That's essentially what it's telling us to do. That way everybody else is we take less damage from them. Now, we won't be able to see how much less damage we take unless somebody actually attacks Kreel. With this particular team, with Krex being taunted, there's nothing we can do just yet. So we'll wait a little bit until the taunt goes down, and then if somebody attacks Kreel, we'll see if we can get a little indicator like these things here show. Alright, so his first skill is an AoE attack. I'm not going to use that just yet. We'll use that when the time comes. Probably use it on the first boss, the mini-boss. Okay, so the taunt is down. That's good. So now we're ultimately going to do some basic attacks here and see if we can get somebody to attack Kreel. I don't know if we can really force that. They're going to attack whoever they want to attack. So we'll just attack some people. Take out the little guys first. Didn't do much there. Alright, so we're watching for indicators here when they attack. Did not see anything there. And that one wasn't an attack on Kreel, so there's not much I could do there either. Alright, so it's unlikely that these guys are going to survive. Yep, he's dead. He might make it one more turn, but so he did the Feeding Frenzy trait, though. I don't know if we have that on here. Feeding Frenzy, oh, that's just the follow-up attack. So why it's called that, don't know. But notice it's only a Gorgon. We'll use one of his other skills here. This one is Purging Venom. And then this one is 3 melee attacks. I actually want to save this one because this one's really good to use after somebody's already venomed. So I'm actually going to use this one on the boss fight because we'll use Cobressa's big venom attack. I'll just do some basic attacks here, why not? Give us another chance for him to attack Kreel, which he didn't. But the Serpent Spear from Cobressa is ultimately going to be a good prelude into Kreel's middle attack there, because he's going to do 3 attacks. Each one's going to get bonus damage. So we will first do this. 10 stacks of venom is what we're looking for. So as long as he's not immune to it, there's our 10 stacks. And now we're up to 12. We'll throw a Reptile Pile on there. That should add another maybe 8 venom. There's 16. 16. It might just be what it is. Okay. There, we're up at 18. So it's kind of a bummer because I'm not going to be able to see all 3 attacks. What I will do is I will actually taunt, I think, just to protect the team. So we have 18 venom. If we look at this middle skill here, it's 3 attacks, purge 3 venom on each hit. So it should drop down to 15, down to 12, and then down to 9. So how much extra damage it does, the normal venom boosted damage is like 1.2 damage per stack, I think, is what it is. So that's usually what I see with Viperia and Cobressa. But let's watch this closely now when we actually do this attack. First attack is 1.6, 1.6, 1.6. So this tells me if it's 1.6 for each one, he removed 3 stacks. So 3 stacks and it goes 1.6. So it's 0.2 per stack. So it's basically the same mechanism. If you remove 1 stack of venom, it'll give you 1.2. If you do 2 stacks, it'll give you 1.4. If you manage to remove all 3, it will give you 1.6. So now what does 1.6 damage amount to when you're doing the calculation? Think of it as basically kind of like a critical attack, but not really. Basically it's your full attack and then another half attack. So maybe like Hagrim's basic attack, where it's essentially like a little bit of follow-up damage. So nothing special, but it's certainly better than nothing. If we do that on elemental advantage like a red hero, obviously we could be dishing out some good damage there. Overall, it doesn't look like without runes. Obviously Kreel is certainly not anything special. He's not one-shotting a lot of guys. So in terms of power on him, I'm thinking he's going to be a unique one, because we're either going to end up going with full-on damage reduction, or we're going to try and do some sort of a power where he can attack. And as far as team composition goes, I'm not really sure where he fits in with this team, or if he's really even meant to be, part of an all reptile team. This team here certainly isn't going to hold a lot of weight in some of the boss mode or very hard dungeons because of the lack of true healing from Cobressa. I mean, she can heal decent, but I don't count on her to heal. Let's throw some auto run on for a second here and see how the team actually does, just doing some basic attacks. This will give us shit. Okay, I guess that's why we don't do auto attacks, is because then somebody dies. Of course that was going to happen the second I did that. At the very least, it gave Viperia a shield. Alright, so unfortunately you're going to have to bear with me here and just watch me finish this out on manual. But yeah, I don't see the reptiles as being a hardcore auto run team like some of the other teams that we have out there. Partially because it's a rainbow team. We have 3 different elements here. That's not really conducive of a auto run team. And 2, the passives between them, there's nothing that's going to regenerate a lot of health. So that's going to be a problem as well. And we got no AoEs up here. At least the reptile pile is a little bit better now because we have 4 reptiles, so it'll give a little bit more damage than just the previous ones. Let's do this one here once. The Old Faithful has a chance to drench, which basically this is going to make Kreel a slower version of Kai. In my opinion, Kreel is extremely like Kai. He's not really good on attack unless you really pimp him out. He's not really good on defense, but he can kind of slow down the team a little bit. I don't know that he's going to be as useful as Kai because Kai is fast and Kreel is not. So, but he reminds me very, very, very much like a version of Kai. Okay, should be almost done here. Still got a whole another dungeon before the, not a dungeon, but another room before the boss room. If I got an AoE, I'm going to use it, and then I'll just use my potion. I'll use some acid spit here. Should clear these guys pretty easily. And then we'll use that on the next one as well. So I think we got a pretty good assessment of where Kreel's going to fit in with PvE teams, and the answer to that is he probably really doesn't have much of a home. He has a few niche areas in terms of fitting in with the reptile pile. If you also happen to get him in a good spot where you can get tons of stacks of venom before he attacks, obviously that's good. Those guys were fire immune, so I probably should have used my potion on Viperia instead, but I got this AoE up, so that's fine. I only got to survive about 1 turn. Let's do tail swipe here. Smoke him. Alright, prevent some AoEs. If anything, though, Kreel looks pretty awesome. If there's any consolation of that, he's certainly menacing, if you will. We got, there we go. Load up on some venom on him, so we should get, or her rather, we should get the times 1.6. This is gonna, yep, she did. Through this dungeon, I never really got a good look to see what the damage reduction was on Kreel. I guess I just missed it. I don't know if it ever really came up. We'd almost have to run a dungeon by himself once just to see other people attacking him. I'm not sure that it gives us a overall idea of what that damage reduction actually is. My guess is it's similar to like armor, where it's going to be like maybe 20% or 15%. Okay, so we'll take a look at PvP next and see what this is going to do for the PvP. So here we are with a quick look at the PvP. I threw some runes on him. I basically just threw some of the best ones of what I had laying around. I didn't strip any runes off of anybody else, but just to show you what's on here, we have a greater precision. We have a champion rune, which a little bit of damage reduction. Different champion rune, a little bit of extra attack, so he's kind of a mixed bag. A soul stealer rune that I found. We got some life steal and some more crit and dodge and a little bit of health. And then a greater life with a little bit of health and defense and a little bit of light resist, which is kind of junk, but might keep him alive against someone like Kira. His overall stats: attack of 2000, not very good. Defense 1900, even worse in my opinion. So max health of 7342. In order to make him viable for PvP, especially at level 70, I'm thinking we're going to want 6 stars, and we're going to want to take a full damage reduction concept. He's armored, so he should get a little bit of a buff from Furnace, for example, who protects armored, I think. We have that extra buff from Bobble, which would be a good one. But ultimately, I think if you throw some life, some bulwarks on him, he might be viable. I'm going to say I have a long way to go before he's 6-star, and honestly, I don't think I'm going to commit to that because I don't see him as being highly useful. So let's first talk about PvP defense, because that's going to be sort of the intangible one. I'm not going to leave this as my team and watch people attack me, because I can tell you already what exactly will happen. So first things first, we need to look at the actual team here. Is it going to be worth it to put Kreel on there instead of somebody like Rocky? Rocky gives us a direct benefit to both Viperia and Krex. Is it going to be worth removing that, especially being fast, in the instance of bringing in a 4th reptile? So pros to bringing in a 4th reptile: another person dies, it's another way for Cobressa and Viperia to get a shield. The downside to that is I think it's going to be incredibly easy to counter. One, the attack on Kreel is just so low. I think you could put your absolute best runes on him, and he's still going to amount to basically like Kai, where maybe you get him up to like 3,000 attack, maybe 4,000, I guess, if you really put some superiors on there. But it's not going to be anywhere close to somebody like Koros, or even what you could get out of Viperia, probably. So if we bring in a 4th reptile instead of Rocky, essentially here's what it's going to amount to. I don't care what team you, or what order you put them in. What's going to happen is Shade's going to go first, kills either Viperia or Cobressa, guaranteed. Then Shadowblade comes in and purges the taunt off of Krex, which is pretty standard. At that point, the only thing that matters is where does Kreel fit in terms of the order. You could either bring in a Torchy to silence whoever's next, or Koros comes in and wipes the rest of the team. Once the taunt is off of Krex, that's it. It's pretty much over, because Koros targets the other Gorgon that's shielded, and everybody dies. And even with elemental advantage, I'm pretty sure Kreel's going to die to Koros, especially with the low defense that I have. I don't see that as being helpful. So the options for using Kreel on PvP defense, he does not have any traits that directly benefits other heroes besides Gorgons or reptiles. So we would need to rely on other team members to make him better. The only one that really jumps out at first glance would maybe be somebody like William. But who in their right mind is going to use William in PvP? Seriously. Unless you're level 15, then I stand corrected. But at level 70, no, I just don't think that's happening. And so what we're looking for is this: increased defense by 15% for all water allies. So you give a little bit of extra defense to Kreel, who's already got armored status. Is that going to help? Probably. I think, honestly, Kreel's worst nightmare is going to be Lily, because she does extra damage to armor. I don't think many people are going to use Theron, but Theron would probably light him up pretty good too. So who else he could be paired with? Maybe Yasmin. Yasmin's going to give him a little bit of extra health, I believe, is what her trait is. But you're starting to look at heroes that are not PvP meta heroes, and that's asking quite a bit to create a special team just around one hero like that. I don't see that that's going to be a new meta at all here. Now Yasmin, she's starting to make her way into PvP with the new skill that's up. So increase health by 20% for all water allies. So that's obviously good. That would help Kreel quite a bit. One of my guildies, I believe his name is Foxter, has a mega Yasmin pimped out in PvP. So she's pretty tough to kill just because she keeps healing the team and getting back to full health. So we are seeing a resurgence of healers in PvP. So if we did bring Yasmin and Kreel, I'm going to say we probably wouldn't bring any other reptiles along. I think we would still want to go with some of the more meta heroes, like either a Koros or a Shade or a Kira or a Shadowblade or an Emily, literally anybody else. I think the more reptiles you put on the team, the worse it's actually going to get, because you're going to be too slow. Any fast team's going to be able to come in there and dominate you pretty good. So I feel like with PvP defense, you almost always have to have a fast hero. And honestly, any PvP defense I run into that doesn't have a fast hero, it's probably a 95% plus win rate. It's just fast heroes are the way to go for PvP. So that being said, putting Kreel on PvP defense, don't put him with other reptiles for the most part. I just don't think it's going to be worth it. I think you're going to lose almost every one of your fights unless you're extremely overpowered for your level. But if you're level 70 and you're putting a 3-star Kreel out there, expect a loss right away. I can almost guarantee it. So that being said, let's waste some raid tickets here. Nothing like some bad PvP to get the night started. Fortunately, I already did my quest already, so I don't need 3 PvP losses for the guild. But let's take a look. Maybe there's some weaklings on here that I can use here. Dog lips. Not really sure what that's meant to be. So the benefit of this one here is I should at least get an attack with Kreel. So that's good. We'll be able to see flat out if Koros lights him up. The real question is, who do I want to bring in with the team? I think we'll get... let's just get cute with it and bring a bunch of reptiles. I think it'll be kind of fun. I really don't expect to win. We could take a look at the runes. Nitpick is decent. He might kill somebody. So let's do Kreel first. Of course, now he's not at the bottom. I can't tell you how excited I'd be for hero sorting. Or just getting rid of some of the slow UI sometimes. Alright, so Kreel's going to be first. And we'll do a couple of mixed up teams here just to illustrate a little bit further. We're not going to do all reptile teams because I honestly don't think I'll win many fights with just reptiles. We'll go there. Let's do Cobressa first. She's at a higher attack than Viperia. And then we'll finish it out with Krex. Power, we are evenly matched. But honestly, if Koros gets his attack off, I think he kills the entire team. It wouldn't surprise me if he kills my entire team, even if he's drenched. Now, keep in mind, Kreel is unlike Kai in the fact that his drench, I do not believe it is guaranteed. So bringing him into this team expecting to do a drench, that might be a little bit of a poor expectation. I don't think I would get on board with that right away. I don't know how many people actually use reptiles for PvP offense. I've never actually done it myself. I think it's too unpredictable. But bringing the 3 of them in there, if you have an opening Shadow Blade, at least you can guarantee who he's going to kill. Maybe get yourself some shields on your 2 Gorgon sisters. That might be a good way to go. So, Nitpick did about what I expected him to do. So let's do this here. This is going to be extremely underwhelming. I actually can't even describe how underwhelming that was. It's like it did 0 damage. Alright, this is going to be my one chance here. So, either Kobressa wipes the team, or Koros is going to wipe the team. Because Koros isn't drenched. He's going to kill everybody. That's happening. So, let's see how good my Kobressa is. She's 5-star, and she's got like 4,500 attack, I think. So, she's not killing Nitpick, though. And survey says not a chance. Okay, his Koros is extremely underpowered. I'm not sure what the scoop is there. Something's odd with that, because he should have lit up Viperia easily. Alright, let's see what we can do here. Purge this little shield here. Oh yeah, Viperia. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, there you go. Sorry, Dog Lips, I had to play you for a fool here. Normally I would not advocate for an all-reptile team, but, you know, we managed to get a win here. So we're going to shake things up a little bit, assuming we don't find a hardcore fast team. I don't think this team could even hold up against a Kira team. So, Kira, Astrid, this is a good one. We'll see how he actually holds up against Kira. And then Astrid is second, so unless it's a hardcore attack Astrid, resist. Oh, you got to get rid of those resist runes. Aegis rune. She's built for defense. That's good. If I can get an attack off before Ponty goes, I'll be fine with that. So, order-wise, Kira's going to go first, then it's going to be Astrid. Then, to be honest, I'm not real thrilled about where Kreel's going to fall in there, so I want to first do Kobressa. Because realistically, if I don't die from Ponty, then Viperia can come in and kill Grognog. But this here, he's more powerful than the last guy. And it wouldn't surprise me if Kira goes and kills some people. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it would have been smarter to put Kreel first. But the thing is, I don't think Kira would have killed him. But it's very possible he's going to kill Viperia, or Kobressa. So if that happens, then the team's pretty much done, because my first attacker is going to be gone. Nothing like waiting for the match to load. Oh, actually, he's going to attack... Well, he's not going to kill Krex. I would be really surprised if he killed Krex. I wish he would, because then I would get the shields on the Gorgons. Oh, he's a weak Kira. Really weak Kira. And, of course, Astrid is built for defense. So, this is basically the best I could hope for, is survive the opening salvo. Anytime you can get through to your first attack, everybody alive, that's about all you can ask for. Is this going to kill Ponty? I doubt it. I really doubt it. Yeah, not with Astrid giving him a buff. Even his Ponty is weak. Either that, or I'm getting some serious defensive buffs that I'm not expecting. But I would have expected to be dead already, to be honest. Alright, so, this, do I get any extra damage from Venom? No, not really. It's too bad my Viperia is built for life and defense, because this here probably would have killed the entire team. This Viperia is awesome. Took out the Grognog, though. Green versus blue, I love that. Alright, we want to... We'll let Astrid do her thing. I'm already still taunting, so let's go Ponty. Now, do not let these two raids fool you. If you're going to use this team, you are likely going to lose more matches than you win. I'm picking on easier opponents and honestly getting lucky. The first two attacks, Kira and even with Ponty, should have killed some people, and he didn't. So I'm not going to I'm not going to complain, but I'm not going to claim expert status here and say that my guys are so awesome that they can't be killed, because that's just not the case here. I'm just got to kill him. Alright, so 2 raids down. Let's look at a little bit different option here. I guess more likely you're going to use a combination of other people besides Kreel and the Reptile. So we'll do that and see where he fits in, just using some other people. If you needed to do something where you have to win PvP with a Reptile or something like that, or even attempt with a Reptile, sure, maybe that would be a something you could try here. So let's look at one of the harder ones. That one's a loss for sure. So what we're gonna do, yeah, there's no way I'm beating this one with just a Reptile team. That's not happening. But what we could do, we could use, he might actually kill Shade. My Shade's pretty tough. We could use Shade first. And bear in mind, I'm expecting to lose these. Do not misinterpret my intentions. So, Shade to kill Viperia. And then, as long as I get my first person up, we could go with Koros next. And then we could go with... let's do... I think either of these Gorgons are going to die if I put them in there. I think that's definitely going to happen. So... I want to keep... You know what? Let's mix things up a little bit. We are going to go with Yasmin. We're just going to play it a little bit more whimsical here and just try to keep this scrub alive. I don't expect him to live. If Shade survives, we could probably win this raid with just a single blast from Koros, if we're being honest here. But this team, honestly, Kreel does nothing for this team. Absolutely nothing. Because his only benefits are when he plays with other reptiles or the Gorgons. So if he does get an attack, I mean, he's going pretty much last. And he's going after Koros. And he would have to pass that % chance roll to even get the drench on. So he's really just dead weight. So PvP offense, I don't have a lot of faith in him. Now, Kira might kill Koros. This is a pretty strong Kira, so... Shade dead. Koros not dead. Everybody's dead on this one because that's how it goes. If you can't survive Kira, you can't survive PvP at this level. And there goes everybody else. That's about what I expect with any team that has Kreel on that you're attacking, so... Alright, so we're getting pretty long with this video here. So what is my take on Admiral Kreel? I'm not overly knowledgeable about the military rankings. I don't know if Admiral is supposed to be better or worse than a general. He's certainly not the leader of the reptiles, not even close. I would definitely have Krex on my team far sooner than Kreel. So I think for his use, it's plausible that he could find a place in PvP defense if you really rune him out, like seriously, and get 6 stars on him. I don't think he has any immediate purpose. If you do all 4 reptiles on PvP defense, like I said, he is a way for you to get an extra shield on the Gorgons sooner. But I think by using all 4 reptiles, you're opening yourself up to Shade, Shadow Blade, and then anybody else, and they'll just pick you apart. So PvP offense, if you run 4 reptiles or 3 reptiles, we did see that if you have really, really easy opponents, you could survive. But I don't think it's, as I said before, I don't think he's a game changer. I think he's more of a, I guess, a novelty hero. I don't think he has necessarily a niche. He's not piecing the reptile team together as far as PvE goes, at least not yet. He doesn't have synergies with anybody else where you could use him in other places, so he's not really beneficial there. So he's really just kind of there. He's kind of the Rogar, like the dwarf team. He's just there. He doesn't really offer anything else except for when he dies. When Rogar dies, Hagrim gets tougher. When Kreel dies, the Gorgon sisters get a shield. So he's kind of just there. So my personal recommendation is don't spend too many gems or times 10 summons farming him. I mean, he's neat and all. He looks really awesome, but functionally he's just not quite there. So if there's ever a reptile rework, and there already was a reptile rework already, so I don't see another one of those soon, then maybe he'd be different. But until there's something that can make him better for other teams, he's just kind of he's interesting, but he's not a game changer. So any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to let me know. I'd be glad to hear some feedback, especially if I overlooked something that was maybe a little bit more in depth than what I gave it credit to be. But I think we looked at the skills pretty closely and what they're ultimately going to do. So until next time, we'll see you again. Thank you so much for watching this video and supporting my channel. If you like this video, please show your continued support by hitting that like button, and be sure to check out both my YouTube channels for new content all the time. And always remember, peace is a lie, there's only passion. We'll see you next time.